Arosha, you're Senior Lecturer in Computing here at the Open University. Can you tell me a little bit about your area of research and how you got into that area?
Sure. So I work in an area called cybersecurity and human behavior. Cybersecurity is something that many people might have heard of nowadays because of all the different threats that are out there, and it gets reported in the news very frequently. So that part of my research is very much what you think it is. It's about protecting digital systems from attack and also protecting the privacy of people's personal information. The human behavior aspect is quite interesting because it tries to bring together this technology part with how people work, build and interact with the technology.
Right, so that's more psychology type of thing?
Yes, exactly. So it brings together psychology, social science, business. So a number of the projects we work on bring researchers from all these different fields together with technologists like myself to understand the interplay between the socio-technical system as well as the cyber-physical system, because these systems are no longer just in computers sitting on desks. They're embedded in the environment, we wear them, we walk around with them all the time. So it's a very complex interplay, and that's what makes it really interesting and exciting to work on.
So why did you get into that area? Were you an early uptaker of the new technologies?
So in terms of some of the wearable technologies and things that measure your activity levels, I have to confess I was one of the early adopters of those kind of things, and smartphones and the apps and things like that. And the other area of interest is because my primary focus is in looking at systems that adapt to their environment, so they monitor something about their environment and change how they behave in response to that. And in this domain of cybersecurity and human behavior, where you have systems in the real world having to deal with situations that may not have been planned for, adaptation is a key requirement. So it really neatly brings together my interest in adaptive systems with this very challenging problem of cybersecurity.
Is there something particular that you can tell us about that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So I brought along an example of a device that we've made. We call this the privacy band. It's a physical wearable device, so I could pick it up and slip my arm through.
We should say it's a prototype.
It is a prototype, yes. So we only just built this last year.
Okay.
And the idea is that we call it the privacy band because it's intended to help you manage your privacy. And what we have on the reverse side of this band are three vibration motors. So these things can make kind of a buzzing sensation.
Right.
And we designed this to represent something, a metaphor we call the privacy itch and the privacy scratch. And what we want to do is to help people get a better awareness of how their digital information might be being accessed and used in their daily lives, because we're generating data all the time, and people are trying to access this all the time as well. And so managing our privacy isn't something that you can just sit down once a day and do in front of your desktop computer. It becomes part of our daily routine. And to do that, we need some unobtrusive way of being aware of how privacy might be being breached and managing it. So the privacy band gives the user an itching sensation on their inner forearm.
A physical itching sensation from the vibrators?
It's from the vibrators, exactly.
Okay.
And then we have two pads on either side, which the user can scratch to indicate what they want to happen. So scratching on the inside of your forearm, because it's closer to you, we represent as being more private, so you're trying to prevent the information from being shared. And if you scratch on the outside, it says, I'm happy for the information to be shared and used. So this is an example of something that brings together this cybersecurity aspect, because the information being managed here is all in cyberspace. It's in Facebook or Twitter or your banking application or whatever. And it's bringing it into the physical world and giving people a manifest experience of what a privacy breach might be like, and giving them control in a physical way as well.
So does that link up to the internet or something? So you could wear your band when you're somewhere like we are now, and you can't get physically to your laptop or your tablet or whatever? Yeah,
so it's not directly connected to the internet. So it works with an app that would be running on your mobile phone. So most of us carry an internet connected device nowadays. And through that app, the app is monitoring your data services to look at who might be trying to access your information, and then deciding how and when to vibrate the bands. And this has to be adaptive because, of course, you don't want to be itching all the time. That would be quite bad. So the app has to have some sense of where you are. So now it might sense I'm in a meeting, and therefore it might choose not to vibrate if the privacy threat level is quite low. Whereas if it's quite high, it might say, actually, it's important enough that I should interrupt him and get him to respond. But because it's unobtrusive, you might not even know that I got a privacy warning and I responded to it. So using that, they can discreetly give some control over the data that's being accessed.
Okay, we've said discreetly. It doesn't look very discreet at the moment. So a couple of questions. Firstly, what do you think it's going to look like when you've got a sort of finished version, and when can I go out and buy one?
So let me answer your second question first. I think we're a while away from buying one, but something quite exciting is that we have some interest in developing this further, and so we're quite keen to do the work to make it more discreet and more pleasant to look at. So in terms of what it might look like, it might be actually a very thin film kind of tattoo technology that somebody applies onto their skin, and it has all the electronics embedded inside it. It might be a wearable band just like this one, or it might be something that's actually integrated into clothing rather than being physically attached to your body all the time. So that's kind of up in the air at the moment. We're investigating lots of different possibilities.
I like the idea of it being a kind of itching, scratching tattoo.
Yeah, we're most excited about
yeah,
that.
That's great.
The tech is a bit further down the line, I think, so we need to do a lot more work to get there.
So that's your research. Can you tell me then how that feeds into the teaching that we do at the OU?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, security in the computing curriculum, security is an essential part both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. So even though we might not be directly teaching our students about technologies like the privacy band, the things that underpin this, for example, about how people manage their privacy risk and and security risks, and how you analyze risk and manage it in the context of developing a system, these are concepts that we do integrate into both our undergraduate courses, right from level 1 all the way to our postgraduate courses. And we also actually have a really great MOOC called Introduction to Cybersecurity, which covers a whole range of topics and some of the underlying technologies like cryptography and network security that all go into building something like this. So
I can see I'm going to have to come and have another catch up with you in about a year's time and see how the privacy band has moved on. I hope you'll let me do that.
absolutely, look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.